game day. We are live from the Xfinity Lounge, and we are presented by Bet365 and Ashley Bo Wulf. Jamie Lynch here in the studio for a chance for the Eagles to exorcise some demons. The 3-0 Eagles going to Tampa Bay. Jamie, a place where they have struggled, a team against which Jalen Hurts has struggled. But let's remember these last 3 losses to the Bucs. A.J. Brown didn't play in them.
Yes,
So no big deal.
That's a very big factor in these games.
They flew down early just to let the Bucs know that they were in their head.
You think they're putting a little too much in that?
I think so, but that's okay. Whatever you want to do.
I feel like they're overcompensating for the heat a little bit, but yes, no, A.J. Brown obviously is a huge factor in this game.
We got a lot to get to. We're going to hear from
previously no A.J. Brown. If you just tuned in, sorry, I don't mean to bug you out.
Yeah, E.J. Smith is live down there in Tampa. He'll tell us how hot it is. Very interested to find out what EJ is wearing today. So we're on EJ Fit Check watch here at the PHLY Eagles pregame show. Fran Duffy is going to break down the blitz from Todd Bowles, which has given Jalen Hurts some real trouble over the years. Hurts has looked, to my eye, more comfortable against the blitz this season, but like the big plays have not come there. So that will be a big focus today. Some interesting news on the inactives, and we got our best bets, Jamie.
Yeah, of course. I think one of the keys today, Bo, you mentioned it with the blitzes. Don't get in 3rd and longs. Like, try to get ahead of the downs a little bit in 1st and 2nd so you can take away that ability to blitz. But to your point, he has looked better against the blitz than he did, say, 3 years ago in a playoff game, all that stuff. So it's going to be a good one.
Let's take a look at Jalen Hurts' career against the Bucs versus his career against everybody else in the NFL. And it really is, keep in mind that a lot of these games have been without A.J. Brown, but his numbers, if you take a look at them, are really, really bad against the Bucs.
I think they're 9-9 against the Bucs as a team.
Just as a team?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's a very split, kind of even. It feels much worse of a matchup. Like, it feels like the Eagles are on the losing end of that.
Yeah. Bowles has famously, in that playoff game in 21, it was force him to his left. In the playoff game in 23, he didn't have A.J. Brown, but the blitz, it was the big blitz. That's what really got to the Eagles. And then last year, it was just as much on the defense as it was on the offense. But as you see here, I mean, his passer rating is way different. His net yards per attempt are way different. His EPA per dropback is way different. It's all like way, way worse against the Bucs than it is against the rest of the NFL. Todd Bowles has had Jalen's number, and I think this is a fun opportunity for Jalen after the great comeback last week. A season that I think has been about Jalen so far, for him to just knock this one off his checklist.
Yeah, this is a kind of mental hurdle that would be good for not only him, but probably some of these vets. Like, I'm sure Lane Johnson is pissed off about hearing the Tampa Bay narrative and the heat, and they can't win down there and all this. But Jalen specifically, I'm sure a lot of these guys would like to get over this weird mental hurdle that is Tampa Bay and the pirate ship.
And Lane Johnson, of course, who missed most of last week's game after suffering the stinger.
Nuts.
He is active. He will start this game for the Eagles. That's the big news. The other big news is on defense, and let's get to the inactives here. Adoree Jackson is inactive for this game, so that means that with Jacorian Bennett on injured reserve, Kelee Ringo will start for sure on the outside today. And I'm interested to hear what EJ tells us about who the backup is, because they've got Perry Nickerson up, they've got Mac McWilliams up. This could be it's just Mac McWilliams. It could be, if an injury happens on the outside, you move Cooper DeJean to the outside and play Perry Nickerson on the inside. And also very interesting to see here, Azeez Ojulari still inactive with Nolan Smith on injured reserve. That means that Agbo Okoronkwo will be your 4th edge behind Za'Darius Smith, Jalyx Hunt, and Josh Uche. But Azeez Ojulari, who the Eagles gave more money to than anybody else from the outside this offseason, continues to just be languishing on the inactives. It's a little disappointing.
Howie's usually good for one signing.
It's his Rashad Penny, except this year was the guy he paid the most money to.
Yeah. Kind of strange. At this point, I'm assuming we're never going to see him. If a Nolan Smith injury isn't enough for him to get a look, then it's probably who's the linebacker that I said was going to have more snaps? Devin White.
Devin White. Yeah.
We're approaching Devin White territory here.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then we should also note that Tanner McKee, after having been the third quarterback all year long, finally healthy enough to be the number 2 quarterback.
Did you wake up with a little extra pep in your step today? I mean, the best
Well, it's a
quarterback
game
room
day,
in
Jamie. Of course I did.
yeah, I mean, this is now the best quarterback room in the NFL officially.
No doubt about it. Eagles have 4 running backs active, with Will Shipley up as well, and Tank Bigsby joining A.J. Dillon and Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley not had the start to the season that some people expected. Are you a little bit worried about Saquon, Jamie?
Well, I think he's averaging now 3.3 yards per carry on the year. Typically, there's some stats when a guy touches the ball over 500 times in a season. There is a steep drop off. I'm telling myself that it's more offensive line related. I think it was kind of like week 4 or 5 last year when the run game started getting going. But Juergens is coming off a surgery. Dickerson's coming off of a surgery. Lane Johnson had the stinger last week. They haven't looked like they've gotten to the second level a lot in the rushing attack. So I'm telling myself that like a couple more weeks here, about now is when I hope they start rounding in form a little bit better. But also, I'm curious your thoughts on this. Do they have to start passing to open up the run?
I think there's something to that, yeah.
I think last year there was so much dominance by Saquon that defensive coordinators were probably like, all right, we're going to make this a tricky box, stack it, and take Saquon out of the game. And if you're not passing on top of it, maybe you need to – last year it was run to open up the pass. This year maybe it's you got to pass to open up the run a little bit.
I was asking A.J. Brown a little bit about that this week. And he said I said, do you think that the way that you guys played in the second half against the Rams will open things up for Saquon? And he said, honestly, not yet. Like he thinks that it's going to still be guys keying in on Saquon, and they're going to need to pass it a little bit more before that moves a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think Saquon looks physically like different. You know what I mean? Maybe he still looks equally as quick.
He hasn't had a chance to get to the, as you said, to get to the second level. So
Yeah.
we haven't seen that juice.
I think last year he was getting that yard or two push from the line where he was able to get 3 and 4 yards into it at full speed, and now it's not quite as much of a head start. So we'll see. I fully expect this offensive line to start mauling people soon enough in the run game.
All right. Andrew, do we have our man? We have our man on the scene, and so let's head to sweaty Tampa Bay on the Xfinity mobile call-in line. Ladies and gentlemen, our PHLY Eagles insider, EJ Smith. Yo, is that a mock turtleneck underneath? What is that?
Oh no, it's just a good t-shirt. It's a quality t-shirt. And that way you can walk in with the t-shirt so you don't get too sweaty. And then you go jacket in the press box. The Raymond James air conditioning. I mean, thank goodness for the air conditioning in this press box.
It's good.
It's very good, and it's vital. So it's very important air conditioning, maybe the most important, and they definitely deliver.
Okay, we're very happy to see that red mic has returned. Go Bucks!
It matches my background too.
As far as EJ is concerned, let's check the weather report that we have. According to the meteorologists out there, EJ, it's supposed to be low 90s. Feels like close to 100. How does it feel there?
Yeah, it definitely feels pretty warm. When I walked in a couple hours ago, it wasn't terrible, but you could tell it was going to be a hot day. And then I think there were you can tell by looking at some of the staffers, the guys who kind of go through warmups with the players. Some of those guys have on gray shirts, and those shirts are drenched in sweat. They've gone from light gray to dark gray. So
you can't
So
let the girls see how much you sweat.
Well, there are a couple of guys out there who kind of broke that cardinal sin today, and they kind of offer a window from our air conditioned press box about how hot it is down at the field. I expect it's going to be really, really warm by the time that kickoff comes around.
But EJ, the Eagles went down a day early, so they'll be fine.
They got in the sauna, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one thing to sit in a sauna. It's another thing to play 3 hours of football in a sauna. So I really do. I think it's going to change a lot about the complexion of this game. I'm just thinking being here really brings you back to last season when the Eagles defense could not get off the field, and the Bucs really leaned into that. A lot of the underneath completions, a lot of times challenging the Eagles secondary to make tackles. Obviously, personnel-wise, they are better equipped to handle those things, but I do think it's going to change the way that Vic Fangio calls the game and really changes the way that both teams approach the game. Vic Fangio talked earlier in the week about, limiting those long drives, making sure that there aren't as many 8, 10, or 12 play drives because of the fact that you just drain your defense in these elements if they're on the field for that long.
All right, EJ, the big news on defense in this game, we get the debut of Kelee Ringo as a starter opposite Quinyon Mitchell. This is a big day for you. How are you feeling about your boy? And what do you think Vic Fangio might try to do to help protect Kelee Ringo to some degree?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not feeling amazing just based off the way that the summer went, but maybe this last month, behind the scenes, having a chance to sort of recuperate, maybe that'll be good for Kelee Ringo because we have seen him come into this defense in a pinch last season and play relatively well. And it wasn't perfect, it wasn't quite perfect, but he played well last season, and it seemed like he was kind of on that upward trajectory. So maybe he can reclaim that today. Vic Fangio said earlier this week that he expects that Kelee Ringo is going to get an opportunity at some point this season. Didn't quite say this Sunday. I think he was playing coy a little bit, but mentioned that he thinks he'll be ready for that opportunity. In terms of the matchup, I'd expect to see him against Chris Godwin a good amount today, and I guess you'd like to think that a bigger bodied receiver like Godwin's a better matchup for Kelee Ringo, but it's a tough one nonetheless. We'll have to see how Chris Godwin looks coming off this ankle injury, but yeah, it's a good Bucs receiving core. They're going to challenge him not only to make tackles underneath, but I'm sure that they'll test him deep, and I'm sure there'll be stretches in this game where they pick on him. So not feeling amazing about it, but I do think that maybe the last couple of weeks have been good for him.
And what is your guess as to what the backup plan is if either Kelee or, don't listen to this, Jamie, knock on wood, Quinyon misses any time in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to have to be Cooper DeJean on the outside. Perry Nickerson was not among the inactives, which I thought was interesting because of the fact that it gives them that break glass in case of emergency nickel cornerback if, again, they need to move Cooper DeJean outside. So, no, that's definitely been on my radar. And honestly, like, even if it's not injury related, if Kelee Ringo struggles, I think that would be a logical thing to move to. And I also expect to see the Eagles in base a decent amount today. So I've been all over the base snaps.
Yeah, you are Megan Trainor as far as where you are all about the base. It is nonstop.
Yeah, and that'll also kind of insulate that second cornerback spot. So.
EJ, the rushing attack with Bucky Irvin is formidable as well. How do you think this rushing defense of Vic Fangio? We kind of haven't seen Jalen Carter really dominate a game yet this year, kind of rounding into shape a little bit. How do you break down Bucky Irvin versus the Eagles' run D?
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles' run defense has just not been very good at keeping offenses from being on schedule. So, and again, as we talk about these long drives, that's going to be a big deal. So, the Bucs have kind of had this, indeterminate offensive line. It feels like everything's kind of fluid, and there's obviously injuries that are impacting that. So, because of that, I think the Eagles' defensive line might be able to take advantage of maybe some guys playing in spots that they haven't played in very much, or maybe spots that they are not their primary position. But at the same time, like, I don't know. That's why I have been so, pounding the bass drum. Let's call it that, because I do think that, they're going to need to stop the run first. They're going to need to be able to figure that out. And I think they did just slightly better in that second half against the Rams in base. Obviously, the numbers haven't been great pretty much throughout the entire season, but I think that that's going to be important. If you tell me that Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis have a big game, then I'd feel a lot better about the Eagles' chances in this one.
Maybe we should start calling nickel snare.
Okay, I like that. I mean, what about like a symbol? Like, it's kind of a similar material there.
Yeah.
Maybe dime is like your
6 defensive backs. Yeah, I could get there.
Maybe dime is like your hi-hat, and then nickel is your dime is your hi-hat, nickel is your symbol. Yeah, okay. We got there.
Let's talk offense, other side of the ball. Obviously, like, a lot of eyes on Jalen and how he handles the blitz in this game. What are you hoping to see from them with AJ Brown at his disposal for the first time in a while against the Bucs? And what do you see from Lane Johnson as he returns from the stinger?
Yeah, I expect a big Lane to play. I think he'll probably look like Lane. What I think the Eagles, or I think at least the Eagles receiving core, would like to see them respond to the blitz with downfield shots. We've seen them handle the blitz well. I know what you're thinking.
I know why I'm smiling.
Yeah. I think that we've seen them handle the blitz better this season, but it has not been with pew pew. It has been with a lot of underneath routes, a lot of quick outlets. And listen, that is better than what we've seen in the past from this Eagles offense. But you heard Devontae Smith talk this week about if they send pressure, you make one guy miss and you're off to the house. There is space to be had in the intermediate and deep parts of the field if the Bucs are going to walk walk defenders up to the line of scrimmage and be aggressive. So I think explosive plays, while again, maybe not always the Eagles' answer to the blitz, I think it could be a big factor today. And, if you told me that they ripped off a couple explosives against a 7 or an 8-man rush, then all of a sudden I think the complexion of the game changes a lot.
EJ, I just asked this to Bo. Do you believe that they need to pass to open up the run, whereas last year they kind of ran to open up the pass a little bit? Do you think it's a little bit of inverse from whether it be defensive coordinator focused on taking Saquon out of it or what have you, the offensive line not quite being fully into form yet? Do you believe that?
Yeah, it's interesting because I talked to Devontae Smith about this on Friday because there's this notion about the Eagles offense that they're selling out to stop the run, but they also are selling out to stop explosives. So it's like, well, how is it both? And he talked about the fact that they're seeing a lot of too high safety looks, but then those safeties are flowing down hard into the box against the run. So I actually think the play action game is really where you're going to be able to make them pay for that. If those safeties are coming downhill,
and get the Eagles run play action less often than any other team in the NFL.
Yeah, I love play action.
It doesn't make any sense if you consider how much teams have to expend to stop Saquon Barkley. And again, they're not going to drop a safety. I think the Eagles passing game is showing that if you roll a safety down into the box pre-snap, if you're doing a lot of single high coverages, they can make you pay outside the numbers. They can make you pay downfield. But those two high safety looks where they are going to rotate post snap, they're going to have that safety coming downhill. You got to make them pay for that. You have to make them pay for being aggressive against the run. And I think the lack of explosive runs also is something that I'm curious why they've gone so heavy into the zone runs. We saw them be so explosive on the gap runs in the past, and those take patience. Those take being willing to only take 1 or 2 yards at times because you're going to hit it at some point. But I do wonder, in a game like this, especially as you start to wear down that defensive line, if you start to get more of those downhill gap schemes where you're just trying to beat those guys up front. So yeah, I think the play action game is going to be big for the explosives in the pass game, but yeah, I wonder if those gap runs do start to come back and open things up for the running game as well.
All right, EJ, last thing. What'd you do last night?
I had dinner with Zach Berman or Bag Sermon, depending on whose side you're on in that one. I had a nice, great meal. Tampa is a great food city, right? So,
did you eat it?
Yeah.
How'd it taste?
No, I didn't.
Was this at Burns or elsewhere?
No, we didn't go to Burns. We went to a place called Counterculture. It was good. Yeah, had a nice meal, nice chat with ZB. Bo came up a lot, best host in the city. So yeah, it was fun.
All right. Well, live from Lucifer's nightclub, it's EJ Smith. EJ, we will talk to you in the postgame show.
We need his
You have
prediction.
no idea how much.
Don't get out of here. Don't get out of here. What do you got
First off,
for us?
you have no idea how much effort went into me trying to get the red and the white perfectly aligned, and I didn't nail it. We'll do better next time. I think I had Bucks 23, Eagles 20. I'm not going to make a habit of picking against this Eagles team, but I don't know. I've seen them struggle here so much, and the weather being such a factor. I could see this being like an ugly slugfest where both teams are just trying to wear each other down. I don't feel great enough about the Eagles' run game or their run defense to think that they could win that game. Now, again, do I feel great about it? Not particularly, but yeah, I went Bucks in a close, low-scoring game.
And EJ, last thing, when you're on the road in Florida, what's the hotel AC set at?
67 usually. Nice. I'll set it as low as I can get it before it starts. Yeah, right, exactly. I set it as low as I can get it before it starts just running constantly, and then it's waking you up. That's the only thing I really qualify for with the AC.
Good work.
All right, good stuff, EJ. Thank you very much. We will talk to you in the postgame show. Stay cool.
All right, guys. See you soon. Yep.
All right, and with that, we head to a break to hear from some sponsors. On the other side, Fran Duffy breaks down the disguise and the nastiness of the Todd Bowles blitz. Andrew's producing today. He's doing a great job. I do have to say, though, he invited me over to his house to watch the game the other day. And boy,
Andrew.
What a disaster that was. I get there to watch he's a big Liverpool fan. We wanted to watch the Liverpool game. We get there. And lagging, buffering, switching between apps to try to find the game. He claimed he was a big fan. I felt like I was fan-fished. So if you call yourself a sports fan, you got to have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. You can find the best games and your favorite teams all in one place, and the way that you watch is next level. It's the perfect fan flex. You get all the action right in your living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. So clear, it makes it feel like you're in the stadium. On top of that, real-time notifications and live stats right on your TV. It's the best seat in the house every time. next game day. Make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multiview requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
And Andrew's got to do better. And you know how he can do better? By getting one of the best pickup trucks ever. The Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks in America for 48 straight years. You don't do that by accident. You do that because the Ford F-150 blends together work-ready toughness with modern-day tech and luxury. They have all the powertrain options you want, the 3.5-liter power boost. They got the hybrid even if you're looking to maybe reduce your carbon footprint a little bit. Military-grade aluminum alloy bodies, advanced sync four-wheel drive systems, interior work surfaces that turns your truck into a work desk on site. Perfect for tailgating, the mountains, the beach, the job site, whatever it is. 360-degree camera system, Apple CarPlay, all the bells and whistles that you want in a modern-day truck. The Ford Blue Cruise hands-free highway system, cab options. For more information, visit your local Ford store.
Thanks, guys.
You just gotta be better, Andrew. We want to see the best out of you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. With that in mind, we send it now to the dojo, the film room.
The Duff
with
Man.
Fran Duffy breaking down Todd Bowles' nasty blitzes and what Jalen Hurts will need to prepare for in today's game.
The Bucs were able to get after Tyrod Taylor. All right, guys, obviously a big topic of conversation this week has been this Eagles offense and Jalen Hurts going up against the Bucs defense, Todd Bowles, and that aggressive blitzing scheme, that pressure package from Todd Bowles, not just on third down, but on early downs as well. We saw last week the LA Rams were able to send blitzers after Jalen Hurts with success. We remember that Jalen McCullough sack on 3rd and long where he was able to deliver a huge hit on Jalen Hurts. Based off my opinion, what I know, understand of protection schemes, I would put that sack on Saquon Barkley, where the Rams did a good job of taking Saquon's eyes early on and putting him to the left, and then hiding the true intentions of the blitz coming from his right. Now, it just so happens that the Bucs are also very good at this exact tactic. They love sending blitzers from the 2nd and 3rd level, much like what the Rams did last week with McCullough. So I think that this is something that the Eagles will have had to have repped a number of times this week. You're going over all that extra film study in preparation for exactly the plays that I'm about to show you. So go last week against the New York Jets, and you could see examples where the Bucs were able to get after Tyrod Taylor. Now, it's important to note really quickly that just because we see these blitzers come from depth, it's not always on the running back. Sometimes, depending on the protection call, it could be on the offensive line, it could be on the quarterback, it could be on a tight end. So don't just assume if we see one of these 2nd or 3rd level defenders up, there's Saquon Barkley, he missed another assignment. I'll show you some examples of what I mean. Very first one here, where you get the Bucs, they come out in a 4-down front, and you can see that they're calling out the protection call, the New York Jets. They are going to slide to their left. We're going to get the center sliding in that direction. The running back is almost always, not every time, but almost always, the running back is going to work opposite the slide. So if the center is working to the left, the running back is going to work to the right. And that's what you're going to see here, is that the running back, he is going to step up and take on the blitzing linebacker from that side. That means that the offensive line, you're going to be responsible for sliding the opposite way, and whoever comes into your gap, if that's a defensive lineman, if it's a linebacker, a DB, you're responsible for it. So you can see here that the safety, Antoine Winfield Jr., he's coming off the slot, and he's going to be blitzing into this B gap. That is on the left guard, and the left guard gets beat here. He's too slow to be able to react to the blitz, and Winfield is able to get home for a sack fumble of Tyrod Taylor. And so you're going to see these kind of pressures here from Todd Bowles and from the Tampa Bay Bucs. But again, sometimes it's a safety. Sometimes it's the nickel. You got the rookie nickel, Parrish. They love to send him on a blitz. Sometimes it's going to be Levante David. It's going to be Tyke Smith. He had a sack in the first game against the Houston Texans. You're going to get lots of examples of plays just like this with the Tampa Bay Bucs, and the whole protection scheme has to be on the same page. That includes the quarterback, because if you are the offensive line, you're going to be responsible for 5 most dangerous. The running back, he's going to pick up number 6. That means if there is a 7th man, if there is a free man, that is going to be on the quarterback. You can't change the rules after the snap of the ball. And this is a good example here, again, last week against the New York Jets, where this time the Bucs come out and they show like there's going to be pressure. You've got Servassier Dennis, the 3rd-year linebacker, lined up off the defensive left edge. And you can see the Jets are pointing out, all right, we're going to slide our protection in that way. So Again, the running back is going to work opposite the slide. So the running back, he's responsible for Levante David, who is coming on the blitz. The offensive line is sliding to the right, but look what the Bucs do. They drop out Dennis. They drop out the edge rusher to that side. So you're blitzing David to occupy the back. The defensive end on that side, Yaya Diaby, he is going to work upfield. Look at this wide lane now for this blitzing defensive back. That's Parrish, that rookie nickel corner again. He is going to come scot-free at Tyrod Taylor. Now, that's not on the back. That's not on the offensive line. This is on Tyrod Taylor here, and Taylor takes a sack here on this play. There's a holding penalty on the play as well. When you are looking at this Bucs defensive pressure package, it's going to be on everybody. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Dillon, everybody in the running back room, but the offensive line, that entire group has got to be on the same page. We know that the protection calls, that is something that is very much in Jalen Hurts' purview at this point. It's going to be big for Jalen Hurts in this football game.
Is never ordinary at Bet365. See for yourself with the SGP Sundays offer. Place qualifying parlay bets totaling $20 or more on Sunday's NFL games and get up to $25 in bonus bets. Terms and conditions apply. Download the app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And let me tell you about the Game Time app. It's the only place you should be using to get tickets to your favorite sporting event, concerts, theater, and more. We got MLB playoffs starting up. I just used it a week from yesterday. I used the Game Time app to get some of my concert tickets I'm going to over at the Mann Center. So whatever the event is you want to get to, the Game Time app gives the advantage back to fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing experiences and in just a few taps. It's so simple to use. You can get images of your seat views, which came in handy when I was out at Wrigley Field to avoid those pesky old stadium poles. It's easy to find and buy NFL tickets. So when the Birds are back in town, you want to check that out. Or maybe you're down in Tampa, you want to grab those last-minute tickets. Priority fees are included, so you're not hit over the head with hidden costs at the end when you're checking out. Nothing worse than that. And they have the Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing agent industry. So take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, just create an account and redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today.
All righty, Jamie. We talked about Bet365. It is time now for our Bet365 best bets. And also tell me what parlay you put together for the good folks over there.
Yeah, the parlay this weekend, you can get it. It was plus 600 last I looked today. And that is the Eagles money line. That's the one down the bottom there. The Eagles money line. So Birds got to win. A little Saquon Tutty and A.J. Brown. I think they're going to keep it rolling. So I threw a little A.J. out there for the people. Plus 80 receiving yards. I don't think you can ignore A.J. after last week's impact. So that's the PHLY Eagles same game parlay for today. You can get that at plus 600. Not too bad. A little 6-1 action on that.
All right. Now, I consolidated this week. Instead of going with 3, I only
Oh,
went
you
with
want
2.
50 unit, 50
50
unit?
50 units here. And one I'm going with is Bucky Irving over 16.5 rushing attempts. And that is over what he has done this season. But I am of the belief that the Eagles' run defense right now is going to be tested by the Bucs, and also with no Mike Evans,
Sure.
with some injuries on that offensive line. Now they get Tristan Wirfs back, but so many moving parts. I think they will try to lean on the running game a little bit. And the Eagles have not yet proven that they can successfully stop the run game on a per play basis. So I think that the Bucs will get Bucky Irving plenty of touches there. And then I'm also going Emeka Egbuka over 58.5 receiving yards. And this one's interesting because it's possible that we will see Quinyon Mitchell shadowing Emeka Egbuka when he's on the outside in this game. Without Mike Evans, Chris Godwin comes back. I'm not sure exactly how Vic Fangio wants to go about handling things with Kelee Ringo, but I kind of wouldn't be surprised if with Kelee Ringo in there, Fangio kind of says, this will just be easier if you guys just have sides and stick to it that way. And if that's the case, I do expect that Baker Mayfield will be throwing plenty to E squared over there.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm a huge Egbuka fan. I have been since Ohio State. I love it. So I'm also with you on that.
How do you like your Egbukas?
I'm an over medium guy.
I love an over medium.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I also love a poach.
I like a poach.
I don't do it at home very often, but
okay.
Love a good poach.
I used to be all about the sunny side up, which I still like a sunny side up, but it's got to be cooked right.
Now, do you do the Chef Jose Andres trick where you do it in the saucepan and you kind of tilt the pan so you get the oil all in the corner, and then you kind of spoon the hot oil on top.
That's a good move. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I like that.
That's how I like my Egbuka. I also like him to go over 60 yards today. I'm kind of lockstep right there.
Okay.
I went on the player milestone as opposed to the yardage. That's the beauty of Bet365.
Scrambled Egbukas. All day long.
You can get your Egbukas however you want it at Bet365.
Egbuka shakshuka.
So I did 25 units on that. I went with A.J. Brown 6+ receptions.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, a little plus 130 action there for another 25
Force
units.
feed in the ball.
And then I'm going with somebody's getting a splash touchdown today.
Okay.
Longest touchdown over 34.5 yards. I'm laying the 50 unit on that. I think there's going to be a big touchdown.
That could be anybody in the game?
Yeah. It could be Bucky Irvin. It could be Egbuka. Could be
Kelee Ringo missing a tackle.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be A.J. Brown.
That's a good bet. I like that one.
Yeah, I like that too. So somebody's getting a big one today.
Okay. Fantastic.
Let's get some thumbs up for the birds. Come on, get the thumbs up here.
Second week in a row, EJ has picked against the Eagles. Are you going to do the same thing?
All week, I was going to pick against.
Right now is 3.5, I believe, for the Eagles.
Yes, I always fear. I respect the home dog in the NFL. All week, I said
respect the home dog.
I said this is the Bucs game. I picked against the Birds last week. The Heat, Todd Bowles. The Eagles' run defense gives me some concern. Cornerback 2 gives me some concern. But screw it. I'm not picking the Bucs today. I'm going to go with the Birds. I think they pull this out. I'm going to go 27-23 Eagles. Cover by the hook. Give me the Birds.
And who are we talking about after the game?
I think A.J. Brown.
Okay.
I think they know they got to keep this sizzling. I think they're going to almost force feed them today.
Okay. I'm worried about this game, like everybody is. I would say I'm worried about the defense just as much as I'm worried about the offense handling the Todd Bowles blitz with a weak spot potentially on the outside, with not getting a lot of edge rush right now. I'm a little bit worried about the pass protection. The run defense has not been great. I mean, they've played 3 games so far, and the defense has not been great in 2 of them. It's hard to believe that they're going to be as good in the red zone, and also the offense is going to be as good as it has been in the red zone. They've been perfect so far this season. And yet, like, everything's telling me to take the Bucs. I can't do that.
They just don't lose this team. I don't know what it is about Jalen.
I'm gonna say the Eagles win. I'm gonna say the Eagles win on a tight one late. Give me 21-20. The Eagles win this game. So the Bucs have more, and the red zone success does continue. Bucs sort of carry the game a little bit, but the Eagles squeak by on a late tush-push touchdown. What else is it going to be? There you go.
Yeah, and I think the teams the Bucs have beaten so far are combined 1-8, so they're 3-0.
Yeah,
a little bit. I don't want to say fraudulent because 3-0 is 3-0.
Played a big boy.
But I think this is a different animal they're facing today. And
Ringo stars in this game. That's what I say.
This is going to be good. I think Jalen's going to come out here and have a really nice game today, and they'll overcome whatever the defense kind of lets up.
All right. Well, that'll do it for the PHLY Eagles pregame show presented by Bet365 and Ashley. We are back here at halftime for a quick recap and update of what's going on in the game, and then, of course, the postgame show afterwards with Vinny Curry joining us here. We're with you all day long, and we'll talk to you later. So thanks for watching. Thanks, Andrew. We will see you at halftime, and enjoy the game, everybody, as always. We love you.
Go Birds!
We all silly like the mayor.